It was a frustrating night last night. Leeds came out strong. You knew that would happen. They didn't allow Fulham to play their normal passing game. But were you pleased with the point in the end, given the chances that they created?
Yeah, I was pleased with the points. We didn't play well, and on the chances, I think we got to count ourselves quite lucky to have got a point. It wasn't a good performance from us at all.
Is that because Leeds were good, or were Fulham just not at it?
No, Leeds were at it and started really brightly and sort of made it difficult for us to play, but we gave away so many loose passes where, you know, the sort of unforced errors really that we should have done a lot better with to get into our rhythm, if you like. And so it was, we caused our own problems a lot of the time. Now, listen, they started very brightly with a high tempo, but I said that to the players. We knew that was going to happen, so we were prepared for it and expecting it. Just didn't deal with it particularly well, which is worrying and frustrating. Especially on the back of, you know, 2 previous draws, but both were sort of decent performances. For 80 minutes at Charlton, we controlled the game, played good football, you know, good passing, and Middlesbrough as well. We created probably, I think, the better opportunities within that game through our good play and good passing again. But we never really got going against Leeds. So, you know, I think that's probably quite normal in the Championship. You'll have, you know, a couple of decent performances and maybe an indifferent one, but ultimately it's all about picking up the points. So had we got at least one win in the previous 2, things would be looking a lot more rosy now, and we'd be, you know, almost waxing lyrical about an unbeaten run. But as it is, because it's 3 draws, you know, we're not particularly pleased with that, and it's not a big enough points return for what we need.
And is it even more frustrating given how well the team have performed in not only just in patches of games but for 90 minutes against QPR to bring that calibre of performance and then to not see it replicated in that time frame must be frustrating for you?
It is, but like I say, I'm also a realist, and you know, we're a fairly new team building all this sort of thing, which is true, and I keep saying it, but it's still the points return is what's important ultimately as well. So, you know, we've played okay, played quite well a lot of the time, but we need to get more points for the way we've played, because you're going to get games where you're not particularly good, and then you need to fight and scrap and maybe, you know, get a draw or even a scruffy win when you don't play well. But the times you are playing well, you need to make sure you turn that into wins, like i.e. Charlton, you know, where we're well in control, and that's got to be 3 points for us, you know. And then suddenly, like I say, things look very, very different now. But listen, it's 3 games unbeaten still, and you know, we build on that and we go again. You know, win the next couple of games, which easier said than done, I know, but you know, that's what we're capable of doing, and that's what we need to do. So, and
with Musa scoring again last night, that's another positive that comes from it. He's becoming quite prolific in front of goal, which obviously was something that he needed to happen to his game, because it was the one thing that was slightly lacking at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, well, he's a young player who's still developing, and you know, the goals is probably the last thing that will come within his game, really. You know, once he starts scoring regularly, then suddenly he's a £10 million player, as we've seen strikers in this division are. So he's working at his game, and he needs to keep working at his game as well. And he's at a good place for that. You know, we'll keep on at him and make sure he does keep working at every aspect, and he's doing great, and we're very pleased with him. You know, like I say, still needs to keep improving, and needs to be mindful that he's got a lot of improving still to do. But then he could become a very, very good player for us.
You're without Jamie O'Hara because of the accumulation of yellow cards. What's the status with Tim Ream, who's now missed a couple of games since he came back from international duty?
Yeah, well, Tim was out training today. He joined in the first part of the training with us today, and then went off with the physios. So he's looking good. So.
What exactly is the nature of his problem? It
was a hamstring problem, a tightening of rather than actual hamstring pull as such. It was a tightening of the hamstring, which forced him to come off in his game for the USA. And obviously we got him scanned when he came back, and he's had a lot of treatment on it. And our guys have worked very hard with him. And we're quite hopeful he could be in contention feasibly for Saturday, but certainly for the following week if not.
And Tom Kenny, obviously he returns having served a 3-match ban suspension, so things are looking okay in the squad front.
Yeah, still, you know, we've built up a good squad, and you know, we're going to get injuries, suspensions, things like that, and they can hit you hard if you haven't got the strength in depth. But I'm quite pleased. I mean, the timing of obviously Jamie being out and Tom Kearney coming back in is quite fortunate for us. You know, you got one good player out, but another good player coming back, so that's a real positive for us. Whereby, you know, certainly last year, if you know, key players were out, they were, you know, almost irreplaceable because of the fragility of the squad. But no, we're looking okay. So Reading are a very good side, but we're going into it again. I'm quite confident. I am with us playing anyone. You know, I was going away to Middlesbrough, which is one of the toughest places to go in this league, without a doubt. And I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get all 3 points there. So, you know, Reading at home, they're an excellent side. A good manager with Steve, but yeah, bring them on.
They've got a couple of injury issues as well. But is it a testament of how tricky this league is? 6 months ago, Reading were really struggling. 6 months later, and I know obviously you have the summer in between that, they're riding high at the top of the table. It's a very different Reading to the one that was in the Championship last season.
Yeah, well, things can change quite quickly in football, you know, and they spent a bit of money and have done good business as well. So, you know, I think there's a few clubs, us being one of them, did some excellent business in the summer. And I think Reading were one of them. You know, they had a good squad anyway, but they've made some good acquisitions to that, I think.
But as good as they are, Middlesbrough are up there as well. You got the point against Middlesbrough. It's the league really is open. There is no kind of team that you fear on the day. Every team is beatable.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. But you know, talk is cheap. We've got to go out and actually do it and get the points on the table. But yeah, we go into every game thinking we can win it. You know, and that's not being giddy or anything like that. That's being realistic, because that's how this league is, as you say. So yeah, we'll go into Saturday's game against Reading with, you know, a lot of belief that we'll go and get 3 points there.
We wish you luck.
Thank you.